with the right people. See, it ain't enough to dream, desire, and want, but you surrounded with the wrong people. Some of us got to make up in our mind going into another year. I've got to get good and connected with the right people. And once I recognize that God has brought the right people in my life, I'm not going to allow anything to cause a disconnect to take place from the people that I know God wants me to be in fellowship with.
Thank you, Jesus. Hey, and let God. You gotta and let God. Don't worry about it. And let God. Cast your burden and let God. Let God do it. Let God do it. Let God do it. Let God do it. Don't worry about it. You gotta let Him do it. Don't cry about it. You gotta let Him do it. While you're staying up all night. While you're worried about it, you can't work it out. Let God do it. Let God do it.
1 Corinthians chapter number 12. And notice we're starting at verse 12, reading all the way down to verse 26. We ask everyone that can and will remain standing just for a few more moments. 1 Corinthians 12 and 12. Notice what the Apostle Paul writes to the church at Corinth. Paul says to them, for as the body is one and has many members, but all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. For by one Spirit we were baptized into one body, whether Jews or Greeks, whether slaves or free, and have all been made to drink into one Spirit. For in fact, the body is not one member, but many. He ain't doing it what the pastor wanted. It ain't about what the mothers want, the deacons. He said, but God has set the members, each one of them. Notice how particular God is. In the body, just as He pleased. And if they were all one member, where would the body be? But now indeed there are many members, yet one body. That there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care for one another. And if one member suffers, all members suffer with it. Or if one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it. Our subject, as well as our 2019 theme, church members connecting as one body. Tell your neighbor the subject tonight and the theme, church members connecting as one body. Tell that subject one more person. Tell them the subject tonight, church members connecting as one body. Before you be seated, look at somebody, just hold up one finger, just say one body. All right, be seated. Thank y'all for your patience. How many bodies? One body. Church members connecting as one body. That's what I want to deal with tonight. Church members connecting as one body. Connecting means that within God's church, and of course we don't have to limit it to His church, within our homes or in our families, breaking it down further, even within the auxiliaries, we need to be whole, or we need to be united. When you are again connected together, it says again that there is oneness in the midst. And we don't need to slip on oneness tonight, or the importance of the church being one or united. And what God is saying to the church tonight is that it's time for us to put greater emphasis on being connected or united more so than we do focusing in on just ourselves. Because see, you have some folk who find it difficult to unite with other people, even the right people, because things are too much about them. And see, y'all are quiet tonight, but I know you know somebody, whether in your church or in your family, that is difficult, almost impossible to get on the same page with this person because he or she is a selfish person. And you can't connect with a selfish person. You can't connect with somebody that just want it their way just for the sake of wanting it their way. Oh, it's quiet tonight. I said it's hard to connect with a selfish person. And some of us ought to be able to relate, because not only should we just be thinking of folk that we think are selfish, but we have to also remember times that we ourselves walked in selfishness. We were only concerned about ourselves. And see, somebody, it's even hard for you to even just mutter an amen even at the beginning of the message, because you're pretty much wrapped up and tied up and tangled up in yourself. But see, if people are going to unite in a church or even within a family, there has to be self-denial. We have to learn to deny self in order for the greater good of the church or the body or the family. How many know that's right? And whenever you learn to deny yourself, you're going to position yourself to make it easier for somebody to unite with you. See, this year is going to be a year, again, where we are going to focus on connecting with one another. Now, understand tonight, just because you connect with other people does not mean that you lose your identity. Because sometimes folk don't want to connect with folk because they say crazy stuff like, well, I'm going to be who I want to be. I ain't going to lose my identity. I'm going to be my own man. I'm going to be my own woman this year. But see, understand, being your own man may be the very thing that's tearing up the family. Oh, God, just wanting it your way could be that thing that keeps the auxiliary from doing what God has ordained for the auxiliary to do within this year. And so we're going to have to deny self, recognizing that you're not losing your identity, but you're actually going to walk in that which God has prescribed for his church. How many are understanding me tonight? Because again, you got folk who are what we deem lone rangers, folk who just want to be by themselves and they don't want to connect with folk, even if the people that they want to connect with or that God wants them to connect with will help their lives be better. See, in 2019, some of us got to disconnect from the wrong people and we've got to make a connection with the right people. See, it ain't enough to dream, desire, and want, but you surround it with the wrong people. Some of us got to make up in our minds going into another year, I've got to get good and connected with the right people. And once I recognize that God has brought the right people in my life, I'm not going to allow anything to cause a disconnect to take place from the people that I know God wants me to be in fellowship with. Come on, somebody. Yeah, we ought to give God a praise tonight, because it's nothing like having the right people in your life. Oh, I need to shout it again. Nothing like having the right people in your life. And you don't just need to be with anybody. You got to be with the right people. Ain't enough to just be in church. I've got to be in the right church so I'll get the right teaching so I can walk as God would have for me to walk. Oh, and I'm telling you, y'all looking at somebody tonight that's serious about God's church connecting and being one body. Now, though we are, again, as Paul said, we are many members, and each member has their own distinctions. We're not saying that we need to clone one another. We're not saying we need to copycat each other. It's okay to be who you are as long as who you are doesn't cause schism, doesn't cause division. Come on. And God himself wants us to be who he has ordained for us to be. And so the fact that there are different personalities shouldn't stop us from connecting. Come on, somebody. And in a church, you got to understand that we, again, are many members. And so everybody's not going to think like you think about certain things. Everybody's not going to like what you like. Come on, somebody. Because some of us can't connect with people who are not like us. Oh, Lord, have mercy. But you have to be able to mature and even connect with people when sometimes there's a difference in how y'all think, talk, and act. As long as it's not contrary to the scripture, then that's okay. It's okay for you to be who you are, and it's all right for me to be who I am. And I don't have to dislike you because you're different. But how many know even in God's church, you find people sometimes hating on each other just because of differences. And sometimes when you look at why people are at odds in the church, it's silly things that are keeping people from connecting. Even to the point to where sometimes folk are disconnected or not united. And when you try to get to the root of the problem, you find out it's something silly. It's something stupid that's keeping them from speaking to one another. It's something stupid that's got her sitting on the right side. And since she knows so-and-so sits on the left side, she won't dare move and go over to the left side. Come on, somebody. Because of something silly. But if we gonna get what God has for us in this year, we got to end the silliness. I said we got to end the silliness. The silly quarrels have got to come to an end because God is saying this year, focus on connecting. Focus on being one. Somebody shout being one. And see, again, when we do this, nothing will be able to stop God's divine will or purpose for his church. Nothing will be able to stop God's divine will and purpose for the auxiliaries, for the leaders, for the ministers, for the deacons, and so forth. When God's people connect, then we are unstoppable. And I'm going to prove it to you tonight. When we connect, we are unstoppable. You take a family that's connected. It's easier for them to come together and defeat their common enemy than it is for them to be fighting one another and no strength to defeat that which wants to kill everyone. Come on. See, you got to recognize whether you're united or divided, it takes energy. It takes effort. See, folk that's divided are not just divided for the sake of being divided. It's things they're doing that's causing the division. The way folk think causes division. The way folk talk causes division, and the way people act causes division, especially in a church where people want to accomplish something. See, now a lot of folk don't mind division because they ain't about nothing. They ain't trying to do nothing. But if you're really trying to move forward, you don't want anything, including yourself, to stop productivity. Can I be honest? I am not going to be the hindrance this year of a place of refuge, Noonan, not connected. It ain't going to happen. Are y'all with me tonight? So let's deal with 1 Corinthians 12 and 25. Notice what Paul said, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care for one another. But there should be what? No schism. Somebody shout, no schism. No schism. Somebody shout, no schism. No schism. See, moving forward, listen, church, we have to have zero tolerance for schism. Zero tolerance. That's saying this year, we ain't putting up with it. We ain't putting up with it. Now, the only one that's fighting this message is those that don't want to change. Or troublemakers who want to continue to make trouble even though they know that time is up. And in order to do it, church, we're going to have to do two things. Number one, we're going to have to be honest with each other throughout this year. So we're going to have to be honest with each other. Honest in confronting those who are causing trouble. Oh, y'all may not like this. You're going to have to be honest this year with your best friend. That if they got a bad attitude, you need to tell them. When they're wrong, you need to have the boldness, even though y'all tight, to say, hey, look, we tight. But in reference to that, you was wrong. You was wrong. Because Pastor done told it's zero tolerance for schism this year. You need to get that right. We got to be honest. We got to be honest in confronting where division tries to stick his head up. We're going to have to be honest with each other this year in our families. You can't keep trying to save money while one person is all about spending money. Somebody got to be honest with a person and say, hey, you messing up. Come on. We're going to have to be honest. We're going to be honest in auxiliaries this year. In dealing with things that's in auxiliaries that don't need to be in there. In order for the auxiliaries to do what it is that God wants them to do, we're going to have to be honest. We're going to have to be willing this year to confront some things. Even confront some people sometime. And when it comes your time, if somebody confronts you and you wrong, just own it. Just own it. We don't need the attitude. We don't need the chest stuck out when it ain't time for the chest to be stuck out. We need folk coming in this year. Yeah, you right. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, you right. I shouldn't have did that. Let me get that right. Do you feel me? And this has to happen throughout the entire church. Leaders got to get on board this year about zero tolerance for schism. We can't have leaders being the main cause of schism. See, it's hard to get out of a church that which its leaders are guilty of promoting. So throughout this year, leaders are going to have to evaluate themselves and see up front, am I the problem? Because see, in the church, let me be honest, you have some auxiliaries that are moving forward. But yet you have auxiliaries in the church that are seemingly stuck in the same place they've been in for years. And sometimes you have to wonder what's going on with leader so-and-so. That auxiliary ain't doing hardly nothing. There are certain auxiliaries, again, they're stagnated. They're not moving forward. They're not advancing. They're not progressing. And how many know that's not the will or the desire of God? God wants every auxiliary in the church to progress. Is that right? But now, do we have to limit that to auxiliary? No, God wants every family in the church to do what? Progress. It's one thing to say no families left behind, but what if you got family that don't want to do what it takes to move forward? Then you're going to have it as if it's like God is skipping when it comes to blessing folk. It'll be in a church like he blessing some family, but not all family. But then you got to look at the headship of family and then question, what are you doing? Why is your family not moving forward? Because God shows no favoritism. He wants every family in this church to be blessed. Every family. And he wants me to declare it this year. Every family should be blessed. Every family should be productive regardless of what folk make an hour. Because God gonna base the blessing on his word and not your job. There's some stuff this year he want to do for people because they're connected that he recognized you can't do that without me. Come on, somebody. He's about to take family from one level and put them on another level because of how well they connected. Gonna do it for this entire church if we connect. But there can be what? No schism. Somebody shout no schism. No schism. So we're going to be honest this year. But then secondly, not only does it take honesty to deal with schism, you also have to be able to resolve matters when they come up. No more sweeping things under the, see, some of you know the saying, not dealing with things. And that's when you see some folks again, some churches tripping over the same things. No, let's be honest about schisms. Let's be honest about division. But then let's seek a resolution for what the problem truly is. When it comes this year to having to deal with things, that's what we're going to do. We're going to deal with it. Are y'all ready for this? Because I got an adult audience tonight, okay? Now we got to deal with things like adults. Time out for adults dealing with problems like children. That's how a child deals with that, not a grown man, not a leader. So we're going to have to deal with things like mature people this year. Recognizing that in every church, you're going to have your problems. Oh, God, I said you're going to have your problems. We don't need you prophesying that there's trouble in the church. We know there's trouble in the church. We know that. Come on. And we don't need folk backsliding because trouble in the church. We got to have people who going to what? Resolve it. Miss Evans prayed earlier. This has to be the year that when folk get into it with one another, they're going to handle it right this year. They're just going to step right up and say, hey, look, I got to meet with so-and-so because there's obviously something going on with us. It ain't going to be going around the person, telling somebody that ain't got nothing to do with it, making the situation worse when you should have just went to the person. See, we're going to resolve stuff this year. We're not going to let little things turn into big things. Oh, God said we ain't going to let little stuff turn into big stuff. Why? Because there's going to be no schism this year. No schism in God's what? In his body. Now understand, God hates schism. Tell that to your neighbor. When it comes to God, he hates schism. Now tell your neighbor, he don't hate the people that cause the schism, but he hates the things that they do. I'll break it down. You didn't have to ask. He hated when folk talk behind each other's back and they see each other and say nothing. He don't like that. He don't like that. He don't like folks smiling in each other's faces and jealous and envious of the person all at the same time. He don't like stuff like that. Can I keep breaking that? He don't like folks shake the pastor's hand and say, Pastor, I love you. Then at the dinner table talk about the pastor. God, he don't like stuff like that. You know why? Because that causes schism. Somebody shout, no schism. Notice tonight in slide 3. Notice this. Where there is schism, you're going to have the 3D effect. And let me deal with the 3D effect. Wherever there's schism, know tonight there's going to be division, disunion, and disconnect. Now, a disunion suggests that at one point something was united, but something caused a separation. Y'all used to be prayer partners. Now you don't even talk. What caused the separation? What causes separation? The Bible says in the book of Proverbs that whisperers can separate the best of friends. See, sometimes when separation has taken place, you're dealing with a whisperer. Somebody that's saying and doing things in the secret in order to make sure that folk don't connect. Old folk, you say they throwing rocks and hiding their head. And sometimes the reason certain folk can't get closer or can't connect is because of the whisperers. Folk who say one thing to one person and then run and tell another person something totally different. Keeping folk from connecting. And recognize tonight in God's church, that's demonic. I said, that's demonic. If I come between a brother and a sister being connected, I'm allowing the devil to use me. How many agree with that? And don't you sit there and act like you so holy that demons can't use you. Don't play me like, don't sit there as if, Pastor, I got my cross around my neck, so ain't no demon gonna be able to use me or to influence me to do what I ain't got. You better be careful, because demons often influence saints to keep other saints from connecting. You have to be careful when you say something. You gotta judge. Why did I say that? Why did I let that get in my heart against so-and-so? So that when they testify, the whole church would clap it, but I never moved. What happened to me? The reason I didn't rejoice with my brother. Come on, because demons love to get in the church and use people. Because they understand that if you can divide a group of folk, you can block blessings. You can hinder what God wants to do because you ain't on the same page. But see, this year, no schism. Somebody shout, no schism. No schism. We don't want it at the church. We don't want it in the auxiliaries. We don't want it at our house. No what? Schisms. Folk who want to cause it, cut them off. Tell them to their face, you about trouble. And I'm done with it.
Thank you for watching A Word for Deliverance with Pastor Leonard Cochran of A Place of Refuge, Noonan. A Place of Refuge is located at 10 Fisher Alley in the city of Noonan, Georgia. If you would like to visit us, our worship times are every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7:15 p.m. To order today's message on CD, please call the church office at 770-252-3855 and reference the order number on the screen.